Interesting start from Zverev. I think he's still far from his best. Fery playing well. Had a re-break already here. Now Fery trying to hold serve, deuce, playing exceptional tennis. I'm surprised with this start, I got to tell you. I thought it was going to be a very straightforward match for Zverev. He was going to roll through this, but surprised with the intensity and how tight he's keeping it early on. You know, if he holds here with the support of the crowd, I'm not sure anymore that it's going to be so straightforward. You know, Artur Fery is a high-intensity player. Anyways, but combined with the crowd support, this can be a big challenge for the opponent. So in my preview, you know, I said it's going to be a straightforward victory for Zverev, straight sets. But let's see if this gets complicated. I still think Zverev comes through. So we shall see. Again, we're a little bit late here, not that bad. We came in here at 3-2 in the first, and Fery holds 3-all. I will be on time for the Sinkovic match. All right, the Sinkovic will be happening on time. Don't worry about that. But had a little bit of a cat issue today. Not going to get into details, but the cats provided me with some additional work that I had to do, some cleanup work. It took forever, so my apologies, but we're here. We are ready to get into the nitty-gritty of this one, guys. I hope you're excited. Today is a semifinal men's day. We got Zverev Fery, and then we got Sinkovic, the match that a lot of people are scared of. Sinner fans are shaking in their boots, but more about that later. Love 15 on the Zverev serve. He's come in low intensity, possibly, even though that seems impossible to believe, but the tennis mind can work in mysterious ways. As I've said in my Koboli Fery analysis, you know, Koboli said it in the post-match interview that he came into that match and he knew that Fery had two brutal five-setters against Bergs and against Dimitrov. And also, you know, he's ranked outside the top 100, so maybe he didn't put enough intensity into the match early. Maybe he thought he was going to be able to roll through it. And then when he realized he wasn't, you know, after that first set, lost that first set, then he panicked. He got tight. So that's how tennis can work. Since Koboli brought it up, I'm pretty sure that this is actually what happened. Now, if this is the case for Zverev, I don't know. Probably not. But certainly it might be a similar challenge for Zverev as it was for Koboli. This is a must-win match for Zverev. And that can add pressure. Riva is terrified of this Sinkovic match. Yeah, you should be. It's going to be scary. It will be very scary. We shall see. Let's see what's coming. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to lock in on Fery Zverev. And we got a great day of tennis ahead, guys. We got a fantastic day of tennis ahead. I think a lot of people probably weren't too excited about this one, but I think there's plenty of reasons to be excited about this first semifinal. Think about the stakes. I'll get into them right now. And I've talked about this in some of my wrap-up videos this week. So here's the thing. When Zverev, hold on, Random Tennis Scout says, I won't be watching that one, and I won't be here with you, Nick, I'm sorry. Random Tennis Gal, come on, it's not going to be so bad, I promise. It's a fun match. You can be here and just track the score. Put it on mute and just watch the score. Back to Zverev. When he lost to Dardari in Rome, and this is just one of many losses that sparked criticism on social media, whether you go on X, whether you go on anywhere, YouTube, even my comment sections. What you will see is, hold on one second. It says breakpoint there, it's wrong, hold on. Hold on. When you go on various comment sections, you'll see criticism of Zverev. You will see him being described as a choker, as someone with no ground strokes, no forehand, and so on. And I want to make sure that you don't confuse this, what I'm about to say, with like whatever your opinion of Zverev might be off the court or about his personality or any of that is legit. You don't need to listen to me. It's going to be, I respect your opinion on that. And certainly I'm not going to share mine. I'm just going to be strictly tennis and just judge Zverev as a tennis player. I've always done that. And I respect his tennis tremendously. And it's not right to criticize him for his tennis. And I've said this many times. I dedicated like 2 or 3 videos to, defending Zverev's tennis, basically. And the latest one was the Dardery one, where the thumbnail said choker label. And if we just put ourselves back there, where Zverev lost to Dardery, and if you remember that match, Zverev blew that match big time. And then kind of went away in the third set, 6-0. If somebody would have told you then that Zverev was going to make, he's going to win Roland Garros and make the Wimbledon final, you would have called that person crazy. Just think about it. Like, this would have been a crazy prediction. But if he does indeed beat Fery, Zverev completes a fabulous career, even if he stopped playing tennis after winning this match, because he's made the US Open final, he's made the Australian Open final, he made 2 Roland Garros finals, 1-1, and then on top of all that, a Wimbledon final where grass has never been his favorite surface. I mean, he's won Olympics, he's won the ATP finals twice, he's won various other Master Series titles, I think 7 of them, I'm not sure. So this guy has a completed career, and he could stop right after winning this one here and be a happy tennis player. So I'm curious to see whether the choker label finally disappears from Zverev if he indeed wins this match right here. Now, of course, if he plays Sinner, or even Djokovic to some extent, that's a story for another day. We're not going to get into that now because it's completely theoretical. We don't know who's going to win. So that's something we'll talk about if it happens and when it happens. But I just wanted to point out that this match is huge for Zverev. And on top of the pressure that he might be feeling of playing a guy that he has to beat in the semis, a guy outside the top 100, on top of the pressure that he's feeling playing against the crowd, and mind you, this is like a horrible thing that goes on in your mind because you have this pressure, but if somebody is in the semifinal, they are unbelievably good. That's how it works at this level. Like, you just don't accidentally make it into a semifinal. You've made it there with incredible wins, so you got a tough opponent, but everybody expects you to win. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure. Huge forehand there from Zverev. Monster forehand. So that's the pressure. On top of that, there might be pressure of finally completing his career. He probably sees this as a golden opportunity, to make a final of every single Grand Slam tournament. And for all those reasons, this match could certainly be interesting and tricky for Zverev, and it could be very complicated. But just watching him play, not just since Roland Garros, really watching him play like since probably 2024, he's been incredible. Like you said, very consistent results, and has had some hiccups here and there, no doubt about it. But he's been very, very consistent. And for those reasons, I didn't expect him to even lose a set, but watching this first set, it's like it feels very tight, this match. So that's that on Zverev. But I want to talk about one more thing, and that's what I hear from so many parents, and because they've heard it from other coaches, and that is that this is widespread. If you're not 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", you have no chance to make it. And that is so ridiculous and so lazy from the coaches. It's such a lazy thing to say, because all it requires is some logic or a little bit of research. Take a look in the top 100 and you'll see that that's a moronic statement. And I'm very happy to see that two guys, Mochizuki and Fery, both 5'9", have made it deep in Wimbledon. Mochizuki making the 4th round and Fery making the semifinals. And there is no height requirement, so to speak, in tennis. Like, you can't make it if you're a certain height, unless you're a certain height. That's so ridiculous. Certainly there's optimal height in tennis, but we're not talking about that. And if you want to discuss can Fery be #1 in the world, that's different topic. And my beliefs are he probably can't, or somebody of his height probably cannot. But can you make it as a professional tennis player? If you're below average height on the tour, yes, you can. You absolutely can. So if you're a parent with a tennis kid and you have this in your head, because I hear it so much, I used to hear it when I was in that line of work, coaching high-level juniors. I spent so much time educating the parents, even back then, this is going back like 10, 15 years ago, that no matter if it's WTA or ATP, there is no height requirement in tennis. If you're shorter, you're gonna have qualities that somebody that's taller doesn't have. So it all evens out at the end of the day. And yes, certainly, if you're like Zverev, 6'6", and you can move like that, that's fantastic. And that's a big difference now on tour than what we saw on tour maybe 30 years ago, where a guy of Zverev's height was not moving as well as Zverev does. Like, there were guys like that back then. There was a guy called Milan Schreiber. I watched him play in Davis Cup one time. He was like over 2 meters tall, I think, if I remember correctly, and he didn't move anywhere near even like a Karlovic, So it's changed. Like, now tall guys move exceptionally well. But still, even with them, the same thing applies. You take a look at Alcaraz, well, maybe not Alcaraz, but take a look at like a Sinner and Zverev, direct comparison. You see some discrepancies in how they play, and it's the height of Sinner, although it's shorter, it's more optimal, even though this Zverev moves so well. So, this whole thing about height that parents have in their head is causing problems, because now maybe they're going to have less motivation to have their kids play tennis, or they're going to get down. The kids are going to get down on themselves and think, oh, I have no chance to make it because I'm not tall enough. And no, you play tennis, you try your best, you work hard, you get better, and you have a chance. You have a chance to do good things in the game of tennis, independent of your height. So a beautiful example here, semifinals of Wimbledon, Arthur Fery, playing fantastic tennis, and he is 5'9". And just keep that in mind when you hear things about height in tennis. Good morning, Simone. Let's talk about what it means for Fery to play here, because most people think it's a huge advantage to play with the crowd, and it certainly can be. But it can also provide pressures for some players. I'm not saying that it's pressure for Fery. It hasn't been so far. They pushed him through matches, and it's been great. But I'll just give you one example, like Davis Cup. Even though you know, some players have played at home with home support. They've crumbled under the pressure of playing at home. Because not only can that give you like support and a boost, but it can also cause additional pressure and you can't get tight. Certainly not seeing any of that for Fery. And match against Bergs was quite the opposite. And of course, the match against Dimitrov, he was incredibly clutch, winning it in a tiebreak in the 5th set. But what if he's close to winning here? Like, what if he puts himself in a position where he can take out Zverev? Maybe the nerves might come into play, because that's a whole another side of the coin, is making the final. A semifinal is an incredible result. It's a fairy tale, like they would say. But making the final and beating Zverev in the semis, I don't know. He might get a little tight. We shall see. So far, very impressive. I did not expect him to play this well. Zverev 5-4. Fery 40-love on a serve. Able to put pressure on a lot of guys this tournament. I know we got a super chat in here. I saw it. I think it was from Marcus. I don't know who to root for in the women's final. Thank you for the super chat, Marcus. I appreciate you, man. You don't know who to root for. I don't know what to tell you about that one. Well, maybe just watch it for just a pure enjoyment of tennis, because it's going to be a great final. You know, when two countrymen play each other, it creates a lot of interesting pressures for the players, depending on their history in the country, because maybe they play in juniors, maybe one is older than the other one, maybe, there's all kinds of history there that's super important. So it's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that. We won't talk about that right now. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll cover that final. At the Fery from 40-love to 40-30. If he loses this point, it could get interesting. Zverev was able to break Fritz at 5-4 in that first set. That's a big serve right there. 5-all. Very impressed that Fery made it to 5-all in the first set. That I did not think it was going to happen. And Zverev did get that break. Was up a break early, and then that spectacular rally spectacular point from Fery. Got the crowd engaged, broke back. Super impressive. Try to get the volume right here. I don't want it completely silent, but I got to tell you, the commentary is relentless. It's like you cannot listen to the tennis. Nice serve there from Zverev. Ace down to tee. And another big serve at 139. Think about that one. 139. That's very fast. Those are Pericard numbers right there. 30-love. But see, the thing is with that 139, it's like it's actually placed here. So Zverev's ace count is low relative to his speed and consistency of the first serve. It's relatively low, and we'll get into the serve statistics here in a second. But I think that's obviously one reason why he gets so many first serves in, because he doesn't always go close to the line. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't look inside his head, but I don't know if he actually goes for the ace or he goes for the spot, because that's a big difference. Saber said he always went for the actual ace. I don't know if that's the case with Zverev. That's a monster forehand right there for Zverev. You know, before we get into the serve numbers of Zverev, that match against Fritz and Halle, where Zverev was like his monitor wasn't working, he like put too much medication or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened, but he wasn't feeling well. He was like sick, and he still continued to play the rest of the match. And he wanted to keep the point short, and he was blasting forehands like like I've never seen him blast before. So, you know, back to the choker Zverev, the no forehand Zverev talk that was like crazy on the social media. I'm telling you, it's like, this is like a big thing. People that think that Zverev doesn't know how to hit the forehand aggressively, it's just so delusional. Like, obviously Zverev has an incredible forehand. Like, it's incredible. Yes, there has been times where it gets a little high and maybe a little bit short. This was even true at Roland Garros. He can get a little bit tight on that forehand every now and then, but it's certainly not true across the board for Zverev. As we saw there on that game point, he blasted that forehand so hard and deep and got a winner. But let's get into the serve numbers real quick of Zverev. I think there's some interesting things there to talk about. And let me hold on a second here. One second here. Okay, so this is crazy. The second serve average speed for Zverev in this match so far is 119. Think about that. 119 average second serve speed. That is absolutely insane, guys. It's a deep forehand from Zverev. And putting a lot of pressure on Fery. Maybe that was a bad bounce potentially. Fery frames the forehand, love 15. The first serve average speed is 133 for Zverev. And he's getting 75% of first serves in. This is like, it's incomprehensibly good. It's incredible. But if we take a look at like how his serve stacks up against the world's best, we're going to take a look now. We'll get into some serve numbers. So when it comes to aces, I think this is an interesting stat regarding Zverev. Average aces per match. And here he is ranked, I'm going to tell you, 22 in the world. So I just read you the average speeds and the percentages, but he's only 22 in the world in aces per match is at 8.4 per match. It's 22 in the world. Number 1 is Opelka, 2 is Pericard, 3 is Fritz, 4 is Manchik, 5 is Rinderknecht, 6 is Bublik. However, the serve rating, which is like all the numbers compiled, there's Zverev is ranked number 6. Service games won. It's another interesting one. This is where Sinner is the absolute GOAT. You know, he's got the best whole game in the world. And Zverev is ranked number 8 in the world in that department. So he does get broken more than, for example, Pericard, Blocks, Fritz, Alcaraz, Opelka, and Shelton. So we're not going to discuss now who he plays in the final, but I think one thing that's necessary when Zverev plays the guys that are ahead of him, I would even include Djokovic if he plays Djokovic in a final. Like Djokovic, Sinner, Alcaraz, is that he doesn't serve like he always does. He's going to have to mix it up. And he's going to have to reduce that first serve percentage to like this low 60s. And go, not necessarily harder, but go for the ace, like Sampras. Go for the line. Because these serve numbers, they look like he can't be broken, but you see on the stats, yes, he's one of the best whole games in the world, but he can be broken. Guys do break him. And why is that? Because he often serves here, and he serves here. He doesn't serve like here on the line, right? He does not that often. Of course, sometimes he's still, he's still averaging 9 aces per match. But so that's my point. The serve for Zverev is incredible, but it has to be different against the very top guys. And here's the hold for Fery. And we're in a tiebreak, guys. Will Roger attend Novak match? I don't know. Probably not. I think it was like a one and done thing for Roger. He just showed up for that one day and he's gone. Oh, thank you, Jeff T. on the yeah. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I like the serve stats. You know, I do get into stats. I do think it's very interesting, but I don't solely rely on stats because they can be very misleading. You have to take the whole picture into account. Like, if you just take a look at the match stats here, for example, and you see these numbers from Zverev, you think like, wow, like how can you even break this guy? But you can. Like, guys do break him, you know? So Sinner's hold game, although his first serve percentage is slower, although the first serve speed on average is slower, his hold game is way better than Zverev's. It is. Now, of course, there's more to it too. You know, it's like how you back up the serve, you know, and how you play, you know, once the ball's in play. So you can go way deep into this, but we're not going to do it now. But Fery there with a very unfortunate double fault. Mini break for Zverev, 2-love. Another mistake from Fery. Couple of loose points there. Brutal. It's a double mini break for Zverev. Played a great set so far, Arthur Fery. Way above expectations. Because let's deal it. Let's face it. He's playing the best player he's faced all tournament by far. He's playing the Roland Garros champion. And going into a tiebreak in the first set is incredibly impressive. SMV from Zverev, very nice. T serve, 133, and then a nice volley. Good transition volley from Zverev there. 4-love. Five love Zverev. I just looked it up. If Fery loses this match, he'll be ranked 36 in the world. 36 in the world. Can you imagine that? From 114 to 36. 36 means he gets into every single tournament that he wants to play. Every, obviously Grand Slam, I mean, it's a huge draw, but he gets into any 250, any 500, and any 1000. Incredible. And not only that, but he's very close to being seeded at a Grand Slam. If he keeps winning matches, keeps playing well, he's got no points to defend. You can push this ranking into the top 30. 6-love Zverev. Yeah, that double, those first two service points, a couple of loose points for Fery, it cost him big time in this tiebreak. Now Zverev is rolling. 7-love Zverev, very clean tiebreak. Look, you got to bring your absolute best at the most important moments against a guy like Zverev, and Fery did the opposite here in this tiebreak, unfortunately. And the score line and the tiebreak reflects that. So he's got to stay close now with Zverev, not let him, open this match wide open. Like, he needs to stay close, hold serve, take care of his service games, continue to use the crowd. Because if Zverev indeed was a little bit tight in that first set, he won't be anymore. Now he's going to open up. So Fery's going to have to keep the level sky high to keep this close. You are very behind, Nick. The tiebreak's over. Oh, because I have a super tiebreak. Is that what you mean? Is that you mean my scoreboard? I'm going to have to change that. I know I'm always behind, but I'm not that far behind. Hold on. I got to change the scoreboard. Just give me 1 second here. I don't even need to go off the screen. Hold on. Tiebreak. That should be okay. Hold on a second. There you go. Took care of it. True tennis vibe. It's all good now. All good now. Imagine a Fery Djokovic final. Nah, it won't happen. Djokovic maybe, but if Fery would have won this first set, I don't know, you could maybe think about a small chance that he could pull the upset, but now that he's lost the first set, it's going to be close to impossible. Where is Roddick's commentary? I think he'll probably do the other match with the McEnroe brothers. All right, second set's a very positive start to the second set for Fery. I love him pumping himself up. And by the way, I don't appreciate being a point late here in the coverage. I can't stand that when they're doing something else and they're actually missing the actual match with whatever else they're showing. I wish I had just a dedicated stream, but as I've explained in the last couple of live streams, once we hit the quarterfinals, no more dedicated streams for the matches on the ESPN app, just like the actual TV feed as a stream. So that you get all the you get commercials anyway, but you get the actual TV coverage with like them going off the court, them going into the studio and split screens and all kinds of stuff. And when you're not like actually listening to it, it's a nightmare, you know? When you're actually not listening to what they're doing, you just want to watch the actual match. I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing on stream, watch the match? I understand TV coverage, don't get me wrong, I love it. But yeah, no, I'm very disappointed with the ESPN app. It's been a very bad experience. Trying to find matches on there on demand, it's been terrible. And we're going to have to put up with it again for US Open. So, but at least we get Tennis Channel in between. Great serve there from Fery at 30 all down the tee. And one thing about Fery that like all the youngsters should copy is his body language, his intensity. The guy has a great mindset for tennis. That's a tricky ball. I mean, it looks like a super easy miss, but that high, floaty return probably had a little bit of backspin on it. And Fery dumps a forehand into the net. Deuce. True tennis vibe. What do you mean my commentary is behind? Like how much? Recheck your stream. Okay, I'll tell you the actual score that I'm seeing right now. I'm like a point behind, 1 point, and there's really nothing I can do. I'm literally on my TV is on right now behind here. It's like Fery just held, and on the stream they're still in the rally, and Zverev missed the backhand, so it's maybe 5 seconds behind on the stream. So I don't know what to tell you. I have everything set up so it's the least amount of latency possible, but I don't know. Yeah, of course, you have to factor in YouTube lag. I see it here because I got the YouTube stream going. That's going to be a natural lag on YouTube. So I don't know, really. I try my best to optimize this, but ooh, that's an interesting miss there by Zverev. Volley miss, love 15. Good start in the second set from Fery. I'll get into some of you guys' questions too. Nick, are you affiliated with Tennis Warehouse? You know what? I did talk to them, but no, for a reason, because I want to review rackets. Like I'm gonna do a video on the Wilson Defier if I get my hands on it. So if I was affiliated with them, I could get access to rackets, which would be much easier to make videos. But I just don't want to. I don't know. There's a nice backhand approach shot from Zverev there. Fery slips. So no, I'm not affiliated with them, but I do need to find the fire somehow. I gotta find anyone watching here that has a pro shop in the area that has it in stock. I'm gonna, when I have time, probably on Monday, I will go to some pro shops and try to get my hands on it, because you can't get it online yet. Drop shot from Zverev, brings Fery in. Fery had a look at a volley there, missed it wide, 30-15 Zverev. So it's 30-15, 30-15 now. Okay, got it. Yeah. Well, let me check the delay. Let me check it. Let me check it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hand up. Hold on. Let me do that again. Hold on. I'll put my hand up and I'm going to stopwatch. Hold on a second. Stopwatch. All right, let's start now. Here. I'm looking to see when I see my hand on the screen. 5 seconds so far. 10 seconds. 12-second delay. So that's pretty bad. But it used to be worse in the beginning when I started doing them. It was like 20, 30-second delay. But it's worse today. I don't know why. I don't know why. I have no idea, guys. I'm not doing anything different, but it is what it is. A nice hold there from Zverev. 1-all. True Tennis Vibe. I'm looking at the TV. You don't understand. I'm doing everything at the exact moment when it's happening. That's what you have to understand. It's whatever I'm doing is being broadcasted to you later. But I'm not like doing this like I'm not late. I'm looking at the TV and now it's 1-all, 15 love. Love 15, Fery serve. And Fery's bouncing the ball on the ground. That's what I'm seeing. So Dan Tuber, are you wearing all white because it's Wimbledon? Of course. Of course. No, I bought this without thinking about Wimbledon. I like wearing white. But I will wear this for the next 3 days out of the respect of Wimbledon. Yeah, it's not the internet speed, trust me, or the lag would be bad. I've had problems with that, believe me. I had to do all this reconfiguration. I'm hardwired in because with the unstable internet, the stream will be, the quality of the stream would be horrendous, which I can check right now, by the way, to see how it is, because this is just a recent thing that I did. We'll click on stream health real quick, hold on. Stream health. Excellent. Stream health is excellent. So my internet speed is good. And let me check the stats real quick, see how many frames we're dropping. 1 second here, hold on. 1 second here. Stats. Yeah, we're not dropping that much. We're okay. So that part is okay. So the internet speed is all right. It's not the internet speed. It's just whatever is happening with YouTube itself, I think. The settings inside of YouTube and the software where I'm streaming through, that's where the issue is. But I got everything optimized. I might have to take another look later today. So in any case, Zverev holds to love, 2-1. I think Zverev's going to loosen up and start playing. He's going to start playing better in the second set. I think he'll get 1 break per set at least. Let's see here. Okay. Actos says Djokovic is clearly going to beat Sinner. Sinner isn't the player he used to be. We shall see. Like Sinner says, let's see what's coming. Hey, Phoenix, I don't know what to tell you, man. The delay is confusing you. I mean, some people have like, if you're watching it on stream and not on TV, you can try to sync it. If you really want to listen to me and not the commentary, you sync it to where I am at. So as I'm talking about the points, you can sync it so that it's like it's happening at the same time. And you know, I try not to do all play-by-play because I think for like a whole stream, that could be boring. I get into the chat, I talk about other things, so I kind of keep it like a little bit more open to other things, not just the actual match. which I think makes it a little bit more interesting and different from, and also gives you a reason to listen to this instead of the actual match. Tommy says, I'm learning a thing or two from Fery. I'm 1 inch taller. I think this is so important that a guy like this makes the semis in Wimbledon. I'm so sick and tired of this thing where you can only play good tennis if you're tall. It's ridiculous. And it goes way deeper than that too. There's things out there like you can't hit the certain serves when you're tall or when you're short, and it's just so idiotic. You can't hit kick when you're short, or you can't hit flat when you're short, or all this nonsense. I literally have like 12-year-olds hitting kick, or so again, this is great. Arthur Fery in the semifinals at 5'9" was great. It's great for a great motivator. That's a nice backhand from Zverev cross court. I didn't get to that volley. Didn't move well to that volley. Good pass from Fery though. Not the greatest drop volley, but Fery runs it down very quickly and misses into the net. 40 love. One of the best backhands of Zverev is the flat cross court one. It's a very hard, flat cross court. The ball is fast and has a very, sharp exit trajectory. You can put so much pressure on the opponents with that backhand. They're just blending in a stat. Zverev won 11 out of the last 12 points. So, as I said after the first set, keeping it close here for Fery, it's like, wow, what a forehand from Zverev. Absolutely demolished that forehand. Ripped that thing down the line for a winner. Like keeping it close in the second set is so important for Fery, but I think it's tough because Zverev started opening up his game a little bit more, less mistakes, very aggressive, and I think it's going to be quite comfortable for Zverev from this point on. And Fery at the net, Zverev at the backhand pass. He goes close to the body, and he misses. He apologizes to Fery. 15 love. Quick hands at the net from Fery. Super quick. Did you see Rune switching to Wilson and picking Defier? Out of all the injured players, who do you think would be best? Do best at Wimbledon apart from Carlos? Yeah, the Defier is like, I really want to make a video on it. I have a lot to say about the Defier. I really want to get my hands on that thing, but I can't get to it. I don't have time. If anybody has one or lives here close to me, Palm Beach County, if anyone has the 198 and let me borrow it for half a day, I'll be very thankful. I'll shout you out on social media. Beautiful volley there from Fery. 30 love. And who apart from Carlos and Rune would have a good chance at Wimbledon? Well, Draper, obviously. Draper, man, that was, what a bummer that was. He was going to play Fritz in the first round. I hold Draper in high regards. He's a very dangerous player. Nick, do you see Zverev winning the whole thing? Now that I think about it, it would be nice to see him play center in the final, actually beat him fair and square and earn a real trophy. Beat who? And why a real trophy? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it, ATP. 10101. Too much pressure from Zverev there. Forces the error from Fery. 30-15. Or 15-30. A double break would be brutal right here for Fery. Good return from Zverev. The big cross-court forehand. Fery ripping the forehand. Comes in. A good volley cross-court, but Zverev runs it down and makes it. He's an incredible mover, Zverev. He's very quick, too. Zverev can run, let me tell you. Zverev can run. This will be brutal if Zverev breaks here. And Fery saves the first break point. Oh, I see ATP 101. I see what you mean now. You're saying that Zverev's Roland Garros title wasn't legitimate because he didn't play Sinner or Alcaraz there? And now if he can beat Sinner in the final, it would be a real trophy? Look, I know that's like, it's out of line. Because, listen, there's no such thing as a real trophy or not real trophy. Sinner was in the tournament in Roland Garros, and if you're injured and not there, that's just part of tennis. Okay, double break for Zverev right here. It's going to be tough for Fery right now, but it's the same with the whole Raducanu thing. It's like an asterisk behind her U.S. Open win because she didn't beat any of the big players on her road there, but all the big players were in the tournament. So there's no asterisk. Nothing like that exists. If they lose, prior to you beating, or the player that you're talking about beating them, you beat the player that beat them, which is the same thing in essence, So there's no such thing as asterisk. Zverev got that title. He was the best player in the draw, and no asterisks there. Now, if you want to talk about him going through a Sinner or an Alcaraz to take a Grand Slam title, that's a whole nother subject. And that certainly is something worth discussing. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Let's wait for the Sinner and Djokovic match to end, and we'll talk about it. We'll preview that one if it comes. And I'll discuss this exact thing. No offense to Fery, but I feel like he has no chance. It's not offensive to think that. Listen, Zverev is a tough customer. He has weapons that are just too good, too tough for Fery. He's tough to beat right now. And he's never. He also on his road to here. This is the best player he's faced so far. And it's tough for Fery. It's very tough. But he's done really well. That first set was excellent from Fery. Hopefully, this set probably going to be 6-1 or 6-2. So let's hope early in the third he can try to get the momentum back to his side. A nice lob there from Zverev, 15-love. Said early in the sets is the key for Fery. Unfortunately, here in this one, he got broken early. That's a big serve from Zverev right there, 130. Let's check his serve speed, where it's at now. Let's see the average speed of Zverev and the average speed of Fery. So Fery is very impressive with the serve numbers, by the way. Averaging 117 on his first serve and 97 on the second serve. Zverev is 133 on the first and 117 on the second. That was a monster second serve from Zverev. 124 down the tee, makes a double fault. That was more like a first serve. Second double fault for Zverev, 30-15. Will Zverev go #1 in the race if he wins Wimbledon? Probably not. I mean, I could check, but probably not. Just because the Sinner has racked up all those Masters 1000s. I would have to check. Nice hold there from Zverev. Very impressive. And Harris says, no, he will be #2. Yeah, that's what I thought. Remember, Sinner racked up like all these Masters 1000s. Won every single one this year. Every single one. Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome. That's 5,000 points right there just from Masters 1000s. And Grand Slam gives you 2,000 points. So. And Fery's got to hang on here. He's got to hold. This is an important game right here. He wants to serve first in that third set. Big serve from Fery there, but a good return from Zverev. Central and deep. And Fery goes inside out with the backhand, misses it wide. 15-all. ATP 10101 says, Nick, sorry for my earlier confusing comment. I meant to say if Zverev goes to the final and beats Sinner, then that would be something else. Realistically, in the French, he had a dream draw to win. Yeah, I get what you mean. And it's legitimate what you're saying. It's definitely legitimate. It's not crazy what you're saying. You're saying that, Sinner went out of that draw, opened the road for Zverev, who is the best player behind Sinner Alcaraz. Maybe Djokovic. We don't really want to talk about Djokovic because it's a completely separate case, but I still think Djokovic is the third best player in the world. But, everyone that's behind those four guys is Fery screamed there. Scared me for a second. Everybody that's behind Zverev, he was able to take out, you know what I mean? So the question still remains, can Zverev win a Grand Slam and go through an Alcaraz, a Sinner, or both? That's still a question mark, and that's a legitimate question mark. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Let's focus on this match. Nice forehand there from Fery. You know what? I like that he screamed there. You know what? I'm not a proponent of poor behavior or anything like that, and maybe he didn't necessarily have to scream, but sometimes like getting it out of your system and just kind of pumping yourself up, like just getting yourself going when you're down in the dumps, I think it's a good thing, you know. And again, this guy's body language is top notch, Arthur Fery, top notch. It's a nice backhand pass from Fery. Oh, Zverev with the hands at the net. Fery rips that running forehand passing shot through the middle, and Zverev just goes like this. Just goes like this. Like the racket not moving. It's very strong, Zverev. Look at that volley. Watch this. It's like this. That's not easy, guys, to deflect the ball like that, because Fery ripped that forehand very hard. I saw one tennis YouTube show called this Zverev match 50-50 earlier today. Yikes. Yeah, that's a bad call, because again, the people are not giving Zverev enough respect. You know? For me, I'm surprised it was 7-6, to be honest. I thought there was going to be like a break in each set at least. Double fault for Fery there. Yeah, the problem too is the crowd is out of it now, you know? Zverev was able to silence the crowd, but I remember that when Fery broke back in the first set, the crowd was going crazy. Can you imagine if he was able to maintain that? Like, but the crowd completely out of it now, obviously, you know? Add in. Nice serve from Fery down the tee. Inside out forehand. Then a backhand cross-court exchange and a backhand cross-court winner from Fery. Excellent backhand from Fery. He's got fantastic ground strokes. And now, if he doesn't manage to break Zverev, which he probably won't, at least he gets to serve first in the third. So that was a very important game for Fery. I don't think it's surprising. It was 7-6 in the first. I've been watching you for months. Almost every Zverev match, you always mention that he's tight and cautious in set one and then loosens up. No, don't confuse this. I was talking about that in the Roland Garros, completely different scenario. That's not always the case from Zverev, that he's tight in set one. That's ridiculous. No. At Roland Garros, a completely different story. When Zverev found out that Sinner was out, he couldn't sleep the next night. He couldn't sleep the next night because he knew. I mean, he's the best player there. He knows that. With Sinner being out. And so every single match from that moment on, against De Jong, against Menchik, against, I don't know the whole draw now. I'm missing a couple. There was Ali's. I don't know if that was, he already knew then or not. I don't think so. That was earlier. We'd have to look it up. But in any case, every first set of the matches, once he had found out that Sinner is lost, he was very nervous in the first set, was nowhere near his best tennis, but then opened up his game and played better. That was related to the pressure he felt of this incredible opportunity to win Roland Garros. That certainly, you can't apply that same logic here. Certainly, there's always pressure in tennis, and there was pressure here for Zverev too, as I talked about in the beginning, but not, that was like pressure he probably never will feel again in his whole career. Can you imagine if he if he would have lost to someone there? Uh, that would have been a tough pill to swallow there, you know? So he felt intense pressure there, and that explains how he played. He was far from his best in those matches. I mean, he found his best tennis at certain stages of those matches, but it wasn't like he blazed through everyone. No, it was super tight, and especially the final against Koboli. That was very nervy from Zverev, but he made it through it. And wow, rip forehand cross-court winner from Zverev, 30 love. He made it through, and I had a lot of question marks about Zverev after Roland Garros. I didn't know what was going to happen, because could have gone both ways. He could have been satisfied and accomplished his lifelong goal, and it could have been a situation where he relaxed a little bit and put his foot off the gas. But he's an incredibly hard worker. That's something that people don't talk about enough. That you never see Zverev gassed out there. He plays long matches. He plays a long season. He plays a ton of tournaments. The guy's a marathon man. He's incredibly fit, puts in the work, and he's just someone that maximizes talents on the court. That's what we kept saying. When he was criticized for losing to Djokovic last year at Roland Garros, so many times Zverev was criticized, not even on social media, by trolls, but also by people in the tennis world, commentators and so on. And I always made videos in those moments backing Zverev up, because no, it's like the opposite. He actually maximized his potential, this guy. And the whole thing with his dad, it's I think the situation they have is quite healthy, actually. I mean, I know listen, this is cultural, and we're going to get into topics now that I really don't want to discuss, which is Zverev's personality and his off-court stuff, and I don't want to get into that. But what Zverev said is that his dad is his coach, but he lets him live his normal life. So that's not necessarily a given. A lot of times, the dad will control everything. He'll control your life completely. And that's an absolute nightmare, and that's very unhealthy, and it might work in juniors, and it might work early in somebody's professional career, but eventually it's going to cause the player to not develop properly, because you want to be your own man, so to speak, right? You don't want to have somebody else calling your shots. I don't think that's going to reflect well in your tennis game. And that certainly can be the case for a lot of father-son coaching relationships, where the father is controlling everything. The business side of the thing, the travel, everything is controlled by the dad, and that's very unhealthy, and that's certainly not the case with Zverev. The dad is just a coach, and Zverev does whatever he wants, and is, so to speak, in charge of his life. So again, I think this guy has maximized his potential, because he put in the hard work. He's been incredibly consistent. And again, the fact that he can't beat Sinner anymore, and that he struggles against Alcaraz as well, as of late, it's not because a lack of trying. Let's put it that way. He's trying his best to be competitive with those guys, but you got to understand that there's a little bit of a discrepancy. Maybe not a little bit. Maybe there's a big discrepancy between Sinner, Alcaraz, and Zverev. Maybe he has closed the gap. Maybe the difference is smaller now than it was prior to Roland Garros. We shall see. But those guys are just simply better, We're not going to get into it now. I'll discuss it later today if Sinner does win. But again, this is so huge for Zverev, because he's going to complete his career. He's going to be a finalist in every single Grand Slam, on top of all the other stuff that he's achieved in his career. And it's just super impressive. If the Zverev brothers were combined into one player, he would have been number one in the world. I don't Well, I don't know. That's like tough to say. I mean, Misha was a phenomenal player, but yeah, I mean, if. You know, Rafa said there's no if in the world of tennis. Rafa said, I wish I have a clips. You know what? Actually, I've been trying so hard to get a soundboard going for my live streams, and I have not had time to set it up. I bought one, and I plan to program like maybe if this is gonna get on your guys' nerves, please tell me, and I won't do it. But I plan to do like sound effects during matches to make it more entertaining. I won't overdo it. Don't think I'm gonna be overdoing it, but I want to have some sound effects. So I have to set that up. I don't know if I'll get it ready for the final or not. Maybe the final wouldn't be a good match to be playing around with sound effects. Maybe I'll do it for Bostad next week. That's where I'll test out my sound effects. But you know, I want to tell you guys one other idea that I had. Oh, maybe I shouldn't tell you. No, I'll keep this one to myself. But yeah, let's do it with Alcaraz. But no, I won't tell you this one. The match is basically over. Fery is being completely outclassed at this point. Well, look, this is tough for Fery. It's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup because the thing is, like, the return. He's a good returner, Fery, but he got that one break in the second set. That's about as much as he can do. It's unlikely he's going to break Zverev, and he's going to be in danger on his serve because Zverev returns well, and it's unlikely that he's going to hold through the entirety of the set too. Off the ground, Zverev got the advantage too. He's got more power. He can overpower him on both sides, forehand and backhand. It's just it's a skill discrepancy. Let's put it that way. Zverev is just a better player. That's just, it is what it is. And there's a break right now. 4 minutes and 59 seconds since they played. Nick, do you have any old matches on VHS? Yeah, I got VHS. I got it in Croatia. I went through some of them when we moved from Germany to Croatia. Well, not we, but I moved my mom from Germany to Croatia in 2021. And I watched a lot of that stuff. And I've used some of that footage, but I have to go through it more. There's some gold in there. There's a lot of gold in that footage. But it's like really bad footage, though. Quality is abysmal. But oh, Zverev moves to number 2 in the world if he wins today. Is that true? Oh, wow. Oh, no. I forgot about that. You know what that means? That's a disaster. That's a disaster. You know why? Sinkaraz semifinal. That's horrible. I don't like that one bit. I do not like that. Carlitos needs to come back. Sinkaraz semifinals? That's terrible. That's terrible. You want Sinkaraz finals. All right, third set, Fery serving first. He's going to have to play with incredible intensity early here and keep this close. Get the crowd back into it. Fery misses the forehand to the net, 15 all. Unknown says, thoughts on the Wilson Defier, new racket that Fery and many are using that was the Python Redline. Well, look, I've mentioned it several times in this live stream. I want to get my hands on it. If anybody has it and wants to borrow it to me, I don't have time to go look around for it. Maybe tomorrow I might have time, but definitely Monday I'll try to get my hands on it. And I want to really badly make a video on it because I got a lot to say about the Fire. (30-15). It's a big serve from Fery, forehand to the backhand of Zverev. He misses the pass. 40-15. Random tennis gal, don't cry. Listen, I think Alcaraz, it's a question mark, but I think Alcaraz will continue where he left off. Maybe not right away, but eventually. He'll make finals in most of the tournaments he plays. It's basically the Aero 98. I heard the opposite. I've been hearing the opposite. Let me play with it first. I can't really talk about the Fire before I try it. Nice hold from Fery there. 1-love in the third. I really want to test this thing. I've never seen more hype around the racket than this one. So that's why I have a lot to say about it. And I need to get my hands on that thing. DM me on Instagram if you have it, if you have connections to it, if you can get it to me. I just need it for like 2 hours. I mean, obviously I can wait until everybody has it and you can order it online and stuff, but I kind of want to get this video out as soon as possible while the topic is still hot, so to speak. What makes a good racket? Well, if it's a high quality racket, not the ones that you buy at Walmart and Target, those are made out of aluminum, so like a real racket. Made out of graphite. That's a good racket. Now, what's a good racket? In that graphite range, I can't tell you that. It depends on so many different things. Just think of it this way. There's a reason why there's so many different racket brands and different rackets, and there's a reason why so many players play with different rackets. It's a very individual thing. But yeah, there's such a thing as a quality racket. And certainly the ones that you can find at Walmart that are not graphite, they're aluminum. No, those are bad quality. But anything like a graphite from a major brand, Head, Wilson, Yonex, even Prince, whatever, Dunlop, it's going to be a good racket. Now, they do have like some junior rackets and they do have some like cheaper options too, and those probably you want to, as a beginner, those are going to be suitable, but as you get better, you want to probably, get away from those and play with more of a normal length and normal type racket. I don't know. Listen, we can talk about this for hours. We know we're going to get into it. It's a very simple question, a very complicated answer. Zverev continuing to serve well. 40-love. It looks like Fery, ever since he got that break in the first set, the re-break, he has not had many chances on the Zverev serve. Babel pure strike is excellent. I agree. Babel pure strike is fantastic. Finney ATC says a good racket is 330 swing weight, a 13-inch balance point, and hand length tour string. So that's so 330 swing weight is good racket for like a 65-year-old lady playing doubles, or like a 12-year-old junior. (15-love). Fery has to fight really hard here and keep this as competitive as possible here early, because it looks like Zverev wants that break very badly. Yeah, not looking good for Fery. Love 30. Confidence is way up with Zverev now. He's like loose, he's ripping. How important is it to get a racket restrung? I had mine for a while, but it still feels pretty good. Yeah, that's a thing that people often ignore, especially with the modern strings that don't pop as frequently. They'll keep them on there forever, and the strings will go dead. So you do want to restring your racket frequently. How much? It depends on how often you play and so on, and the actual type of strings and so on. But yeah, get your rackets restrung. You can invest a little bit of money in that. It's going to be good for your arm, good for your game. .330 strung swing weight is quite normal, isn't it? It's a little bit on the high side. I'd say it's probably like normal would be like 325 or below, maybe even 320 to 325 would be like normal. I'm just saying, like, that's not a bad swing weight. I'm sure it's going to suit a lot of players, but when it comes to racket specs, you know, there's going to be so many different needs for specific specs. You can't put everybody in the same category with rackets. You cannot do that. Some players will need a little bit stiffer racket, lighter racket. Some other players will need a little bit heavier racket and softer frame, more flexible. So it's going to be different. Ooh, that's a wild error from Fery there at 40-30. Off the backhand side. Big moment here for Fery. Body serve and a fantastic backhand down the line. That's an incredible shot right there. Add in. Even Cat dipped out. See, Simone knows what's up. Simone dipped after the first set. He's like, okay, I'm getting out of here. All right, huge hold though from Fery. Up 2-1 in the third. Good morning, Forever 25. How you doing? What's up with Fery? Sasha, too good? No, it was actually, the first set was very competitive. Zverev broke early, then Fery broke right back. They got into a tiebreak, and then Fery hit was 1-0 Zverev, and then a double fault from Fery and a forehand unforced error, and it was over from there on. That's when it wasn't competitive anymore. Zverev won tiebreak 7-0. And second set was very, very comfortable. 2 breaks for Zverev. But now in the third, I think Fery's, playing a little bit better. He came through a couple of tricky service games and on serve 2-1. So maybe he can make this set a little bit more competitive. We shall see. Oh yeah, that's a great question, ATP 10101. If my racket sounds like it has little pieces inside it, is it time for a new frame in your opinion? Not necessarily. So you see this butt cap here? This you can open. You can open this. You can take like a little, I don't know, you take something sharp, you stick it in here, a little hole that it has. You pop it open, this cap, and now you're going to see inside of the handle. And you can go like this, shake the racket, and whatever isn't floating around the frame might fall out at the bottom. And then you're good. Doesn't work every time. Sometimes like things can get stuck in the frame and still rattle around, but often enough you'll be able to get whatever is rattling around in there out. Monster serve from Zverev there at 135. He comes to the net. Forehand volley into the net from Zverev. Love 15. Yikes. Not a good start to this service game. Hey, Ed. How you doing? Where's the best place to sit and watch a match live? I might try to attend WTA tournaments in Toronto. I think sitting behind the baseline as close as you can get. What do you think? Oh man, that's tough. I personally like to sit behind. I like watching tennis like from behind, like behind the baseline. But I've watched matches from the side, and it was cool. Obviously, as close as possible would be optimal. You don't want to be in the nosebleeds. Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe personal preference a little bit, but for me, from behind, maybe because of like for me, like just from a coaching standpoint, that's where I see a lot. It's from this. I need side footage too, though, but from behind is my preference. 30-15. Nick, were you on the tour? No, I was not on the tour. When I finished playing college tennis, I started teaching tennis full time right away. It's a big kick there from Zverev, 40-15. It's a monster serve from Zverev right there, 131 down the tee. He holds 2-all. Let's see if Zverev can do some damage here on the Fery service game. How fast could your first serve get in your prime? Oh, I don't know. I never measured it. I don't really know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give a number. I don't want to give a number without knowing. But that's not the fastest serve. I got my serve is pretty good. I don't think that. Look, the serve is kind of complex. It's not all about speed, but personally, I never could get that much speed on it. It wasn't that fast. It was more like when I was working well, it was the placement of it. There's guys out there that can serve very fast, but the quality of the serve is poor. You know, people are obsessed with serve speed, but that's not what it's all about. And earlier in this live, I talked about the Zverev serve speed, and combined with the consistency, and it's not, it's obviously incredible, but it's not all about that. Because I directly compared it to Sinner, who was less consistent on his first serve, and the first serve is slower, and yet Sinner has a better serve than Zverev, and a better hold game. Here's love 30. It's an incredible pass from Zverev there on down the line backhand. Fery cannot get to the volley. Love 40. Looks like Zverev is going to strike right here. That's a fantastic question. Kavlona lifestyle. I'm going to get into it after Zverev breaks right here. If he breaks. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. That was maybe one of the fastest forehands that I've seen from Zverev. Maybe that Nadal, Roland Garros 2024, he was hitting a lot of these type of forehands. He absolutely demolished the forehand inside out. This forehand is clicking as of late. He's ripping that thing. That was a fantastic winner from Zverev. And up a break, 3-1. I mean, 3-2. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Fery from this moment on. Looks like Zverev is ready to get off this court and finish this off. Okay, so again, what do you say? You said something about, oh yeah. Do you think it's worth to watch a Challenger 50 event live, or the level will be so low that it will not be entertaining? Yeah, I'm glad you asked this because people don't realize how high the level is on the Challenger Tour. And the perfect example of what the level looks like on the Challenger Tour, well, you're looking at it right here, Arthur Fery. It's a guy who plays Challengers mostly. So the guys are going to be as good as Arthur Fery in the Challenger. That's the level you can expect. Basically, it's the same. It's not like Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, Djokovic, no. But it's basically like tour level. So you can expect a very high level there. Oh, Ed, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. How's your one-hander going, man? I remember your one-hander vividly, even though that was probably already, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. But I remember that one-hander. I remember the court. Hope you're doing good, man. And thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Beautiful serve and volley from Zverev. He's done that quite a few times today. And he's not perfect at the net, Zverev, but he's gotten a lot better. Let's take a look at how many net attacks he had. So Zverev had, he came in 19 times and won 12 points, so 63%. And Fery, actually, who I think has an exceptional transition game, he's also at 63%. And he came in, hold on a second. Yeah, he's also at 63%, just like Zverev, and he came in 24 times, won 15 points up there. So Zverev's net game has improved tremendously. I've several times used the example of Zverev missing a volley against Nadal in Indian Wells when he was very young on match point. And I have a clip of it. And I use it to show how not to hit a volley because he really stomped into it, that one, and he lost his balance, didn't transition through it. And his volleys were nowhere near the level that they are at now when he was a youngster. So he's improved a lot at the net. Also, his feel has improved. Like his touch is way better than it used to be before. That's 40 love. Yeah, this is going to be impossible now for Fery. It's going to be impossible. Zverev steamrolling. Fery will have to fight really hard to hold the next game and maybe make Zverev serve this out at 5-4. But is this just a magic tournament for Fery, or is he capable of becoming top 40? Well, Hector, you're going to be surprised when I tell you that Fery will be ranked 36 in the world on Monday. 36 in the world. So he's already top 40. Wow. I mean, I got to tell you, the forehand, Zverev is letting it go. In this third set, he's like ripping it so hard. I see a lot of you guys are keeping up with the temperature. in Wimbledon. I know exactly why. These are the Yannick fans. They're checking the temperature, whether it's going to come down or not. And 31 is quite high. But Yannick, he's been pretty good in the heat this week. I wouldn't worry about that. Another forehand blast from Zverev. He's absolutely demolishing the forehand today. Unbelievable. They're really letting it rip. And this is how he was hitting it in the Halle against Fritz. And I thought, he's just trying to keep the point short. He's ripping that forehand so hard today. That's a loose ball error there from Fery. He can't miss that. There was a ball landed inside the service line high, and he hit it right through the middle for some reason and missed it anyway. Love 30. Burmy Falcon says he will be ranked 36, but I see him dropping back very quickly. This was his Cinderella moment. I don't see him having the quality of shot maintain that level. Well, look, he's going to maintain that level for a whole year. And the way the rankings work, he's not only going to stay 36, I think it's quite plausible that he'll go up even higher. Don't get it twisted. It's not, you don't end up in a Wimbledon semifinal by accident. This is a quality player, and that's his ranking now, right? So that's not like there's no asterisks behind it or anything like that. And now with this ranking for an entire year, he'll be able to play every single tournament, and he can turn himself into a solid tour player. Will he keep 36? I don't know. I think he'll probably go a little bit higher, maybe top 30. He's already so close to it. And then, it might fluctuate. He might going up and down, but I could see Fery being a solid top 100 player. And the main reason why most people say that he is not going to be able to do this and like play pro tennis and stay top 100 is because he's short. I'm telling you. Even though he's in the semis here, they'll still say he's too short for the tour, despite him being in the semifinals right now. Somehow he's too short for the tour. Nice volley there from Zverev. Wow, good hands from Fery, and he pumps himself up, gets the crowd involved. Look, if he can somehow break here, fight and break. Fight here, hold, and then maybe let Zverev serve for the match with 5-4. And maybe get the crowd into it. I don't know. That first set was tight. We don't want to forget about that first set. That was a tight set, actually. That was a big serve right there. 123 ace down the tee. Add in. Whoa! A monster serve out wide from Fery, and he holds from down 15-40. Very impressive. And again, now, it's a little different serving at 4-3 or 5-4 versus like a double break, 5-2. Look, this is Zverev. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because Zverev is a big champion. But still, nice effort there from Fery. Keeping this match entertaining until the very end. You guys are talking about Watchalong losing the Shanghai points. This is, let's say it's not really comparable because it's different type of players. But Watchalong has accumulated points after Shanghai. So even if he loses in the first round of Shanghai next year, he'll probably stay in the top 100 easily. Maybe even stay in the top around 50 in the world, because he's accumulated points in a lot of tournaments, made semis, Monte Carlo, like he said, pretty decent results, and won matches. And that same thing will happen with Fery. Even if he loses next in the first round of Wimbledon next year, he'll probably accumulate enough points from now until next year's Wimbledon to stay in the top 100, so that once this result falls off, he has enough points to stay there. That's how it works, because now he'll get a chance to play every single big tournament, and he'll win matches, trust me. This is the difference of playing on the main tour and playing the challengers, because playing in the challengers, you just don't get that many points, and it's nearly, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's extremely difficult to get into the top 100 by playing challengers. It's very difficult. So that's a tough combination there. 134 from Zverev down the tee, and then a backhand cross-court winner, 40 love. That's an incredible hold there from Zverev. It's like literally zero chance for Fery to break there. Holds the love 5-3. The problem is, like, when that first serve goes in, the chances of Fery winning the point very low. Let me check the first serve points won in this one. I think that's going to be an interesting stat to look at. Let's see here. First serve points won for Zverev, 76%. So, okay. So he did win a few points off his first serve, which is impressive. But I think most of that came in the first set. I think the second and third, Zverev has been very dominant on his first serve. Beautiful point there from Fery, 15 love. A big serve, forehand to the backhand side. He comes in, puts pressure on Zverev. Zverev overhits the backhand pass, 30 love. David Goldberg says, if Zverev is playing like this, do you give him good chances against Sinner or Novak? Again, I want to, because it's so different against each one, it's not the same. I give Zverev bigger chances against Novak than Sinner. I give Zverev very low chances against Sinner. Against either one of those guys in the final, he'll have to play even better than this. He'll have to play on the top of his game to win. Ace, 121 down the tee, 40-15. It's nice to see a little comeback here from Fery. Like, I do think the level has increased compared to the second set. So he played a great first set, another ace here, 124 down the tee. Beautiful job from Fery to holding and making Zverev serve out this match. I mean, that's, again, like, nothing but respect for Artur Fery. For sure, the level dropped in the second set, and Zverev's level went up. Both things happened at the same time. He got broken twice there, but then, Zverev continuing to, like, blast shots, play very aggressive. But Fery, did get broken, but he's been holding and fighting and staying in this set. I think he's playing way better now again. A nice match from him, and actually way closer than I thought it would be. Well, you guys are hilarious. Is there a beat Sinner? Listen, it's now going to get interesting. Are you guys ready? The next two matches. Well, let's Zverev hold here first. Let's give respect to Fery and let him hold here first. And then we'll have a very short discussion of what's coming next. But I'm just saying, we're about to enter the fun part of the tournament, the dramatic part. It's going to be crazy, guys. I'm ready. I'm sure English fans are hoping Fery does not turn into another Emma Raducanu. Why? What's wrong with Raducanu? Why? If he turns into that, he'd be a very successful tennis player. That means he would be a someone like consistently ranked in the top 40 in the world. That's fantastic. All right, love 15. Can Fery get the crowd engaged here? And, you know, put a little bit more pressure on Zverev or annoy Zverev, because Zverev now wants off the court here. He wants this thing to be finished. And a very strong point from Zverev there. Big serve, big forehand inside out. 15-all. I like Dimitrov's comeback, hoping he will continue to do well. Yeah, me too. I hope this is like Dimitrov, the old Dimitrov is back, and hopefully like he can continue to play like this. So good to see Dimitrov. That was so nice to see, because he was struggling a lot prior to this tournament. Monster serve from Zverev, 134 down the tee, forehand cross-court winner, 30-15. That forehand has been clicking for Zverev. They're blending in 134, but Zverev served 139 today. He's been serving fast. Monster serve again, 138 this time. And a great forehand approach shot, puts away the volley down the line, 40-15 Zverev. 2 match points. Getting heated in the chat. You guys are getting all heated up about the next match. I get it. We'll be there. We'll get off of this one and into a new one. So there's going to be a little break, maybe 20-minute break, and then we'll get going with Sinner Sinkovic. A monster serve from Zverev, backhand into the forehand corner of Fery, and Fery overhits the squash shot long. Zverev wins 3 sets to love, 7-6, 6-2, 6-4. Solid performance from Zverev. Fery impressed me a lot, not only in this tournament, obviously, but also in this particular match, because it was a lot closer than I thought it would be. That first set was incredible. He was able to break Zverev and got the crowd into the match, but then a couple of loose points in the tiebreak cost him, and I think that put a lot of belief in Zverev, and like Zverev was even able to open up even more and started blasting shots. And from that moment on, those 2 points in the tiebreak, you know, when Fery was down love 1, the match completely flipped, and Zverev was dominating, really dominating. I thought Fery did a good job in the third, staying close to Zverev, only 1 break, so he can be proud of his performance. He tried his best, but Zverev was just a better man. that's pretty much it, guys. So look, like I said, we're going to log out of this one, and we're going to resume with the Sinner Djokovic match. You have to click on the different thumbnail, okay? So guys, just go from here to the other one. Don't leave, because now we're talking about the most exciting match of the entire tournament. So I hope to see you there. I will take a little break, and I'll be on time as always. You know that. And I'll see you guys soon, okay? Thank you for being in this live. Thank you for all the super chats, and I will see you guys very soon.